Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. Thursday night, February the 2nd. That's 2212. And despite the fact that the market had its ups and downs today, there were a lot of stocks that we followed that did very well. And let's go over some of them. I do promise you that I'll be doing some research tomorrow night, and early Saturday morning to be able to show you some potential boxer shorts for the upcoming week. Potentially, I do feel like that could be useful, but at the very least, today's charts of the day start with GMXR. The percent gain leader jumping nearly 64%. That was 60 cents higher, or $1.54. 13 million traded, more than 13 million. And the key was the lateral price declining top line, shall I say, and the 10, 21, and 50-day moving averages all broken with one fell swoop as the stock gapped up and ran from $1 up to $1.58 and closed at $1.54 with a stellar gain on the biggest volume we've seen in a long time, if not years, for the stock. Probably means we've turned the corner and reversed it. Right now, the initial resistance is going to be up around 175.80 zone. That's what I'll be looking for as a potential target going forward. And then if it gets through that, potentially we could see something up to our 2.25, 2.5. Barango, which had that big pop last week, then pushed back yesterday. Today came right back on again, jumping from 134 to 197 before settling in 170, up 35 cents or 26% on 4 million shares nearly. Volume was big, and that was the biggest volume we've seen in a long time. Now, it stuck its head above and closed just below this line, which is resistance. But it does look like this stock may make it towards the 2.5 range for our first trading target. MTSN, Matson Technology, a significant day today. If you look at the multi-year chart, you'll see that the declining top line was broken last week. Stocks moved up steadily since then, and the moving averages have turned north after crossing over and are moving up very sharply. If after pausing for 4 or 5 days right here, the stock gapped up and ran, and at this point, based on the long-term chart patterns and resistance, I'd have to say I'm looking for a move that perhaps makes it, by the way, that's the support 260 right now, up to the next resistance level and target up around 340.50. Zinga, with the IPO from Facebook registering, has been taken off the last few days. It's gone from about 940 up to 1291. Today was a big day, popping $1.79 or 17% on 59 million shares, and it's now above the IPO day's high, which is around 1145.50 area. So very big pop here. We may see some extension up towards the 14 range short term. Entropic, ENTR, was so compelling that I issued a buy on it. The lateral price resistance, this big gap that was filled here and then tested again, was broken through with a fell swoop that took it up to secondary resistance. And what a terrific close, just 3 cents off the high, up 95 cents or 15.7% on 5.2 million shares nearly. That's the biggest volume we've seen this year, and the largest volume since August of last year when the stock gapped down. So on an up day, biggest volume in quite a long time. At this point, if it does get through here, my next target's up around 8, 8.25, followed by a secondary target of 9.5 or thereabout. Strong biotech AMLN, which broke out of the head and shoulder type basing pattern recently. Let me show you that. There was a neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder complex. Not quite the ideal pattern, but strong volume in a surge breakout. A little pause day after the breakout that showed the sign that it wasn't going to sell off via a popper and dropper, and sure enough, pop and pop 2 days in a row from 14 to nearly 18 today, closing just 17 cents off the high, up 223 or 14%. 14.1 million shares, big volume in the stock. Sure looks like this is, now that it's got up across this line, may very well extend to fill that gap up around the 2021 range. Junior biotech DSCO, excellent action here. Recent run up to resistance resulted in this wedge, and today it gapped through declining tops line, lateral price resistance, popped all the way up to this high here in early August before backing off into the close. Still up 32 cents or 14%, 3.25 million traded. Next target would logically be up around the 290.95 area. Get through that, we can see a run that takes it all the way up to the declining tops line in the 4s. AFFY, another beautiful biotech today, which we put out as a swing trade, because the major resistance level over the last year and a half was cracked with the thrust today. Look at the last 4 sessions. Stock has gone virtually straight up almost 5 days in a row. So it's a little tad overbought, but it did break through key resistance zone. And at this point, I'm looking for a move that takes it up towards around 16, potentially. So keep an eye. This one could fly. Kellyanne also had a big day today, ACHN. After the pullback from the top of the channel, both the short-term and intermediate channels, the stock popped, pulled back, consolidated, and today popped again. Now, it needs to get up through 13.25 half zone, which is key resistance here. That'll be my short-term target. But if we step back and look at the pattern now, a run up to the top of this channel should take it up to about 15 and a half short-term. DVAX, another junior biotech with a big move today. Here is the multi-year chart line that was taken out a couple days ago, and then a quick pullback occurred to test it. Today back up 40 cents or almost 11% on 10 million. So as this goes, it looks to me like the run up towards the highs in the 6.5 range may be had. That's our next target. Keep an eye on DVAX for a thrust that takes it up into at least that zone right there. Okay. REE looking good, continuing to look good after the big drop here, and then a small 2-month declining channel was broken with an explosive move, taking RE from 3 up to more than 7. It then had a falling wedge for a week and a half, popped out, could not quite get to the 640 level. You can see these multiple session highs here around 640. That was taken out 2 days ago. And yesterday the stock paused. Today it kept going up another 72 cents, 10.3%, 4.5 million. And it took it cleanly above that line. Now I'm looking for a move to that line, which is more closer to 9.25 half. Junior biotech and swing trade KVA popped out of the flag today, or the wedge, and closed up 22 cents or 10%. Now 1.3 million trade, that's the best volume in a couple of weeks, and if this continues, we can see an acceleration quickly up towards the $3 range. That's my short-term target. Should it get through that, secondary target about 3.94. Another junior stock that's been moving is Hudson Technologies, which popped sharply through a couple layers of resistance, paused for 4 or 5 days in a rising wedge. Today popped out and is testing key resistance here, but it did close at the high for the day, going away up 10%. Now it's way overextended short term, so we may see some pullback at some point. But if we take a look at a weekly chart, you'll see that long-term declining tops lines in here and a massive base pattern are being tested. Should we break out through there, we can see an explosive move that could even take this to 5 or better. CLDX, another junior biotech that's acting well, even though it's not above the declining tops line just yet. It did take out 1, 2 layers, and now a 3rd layer of key resistance. Close right at that spike high here. So a pullback would be in order, but the daily chart shows that this head and shoulders base that it formed here, and that explosive move stair-step with a flag here, and then a little wedge there before it exploded there. Now the 5-way move has been completed. I do expect this to pull back, but stepping back and look at the longer-term consequences, next target will be 7 and then around 9.5. Nice action on Glute today. There's your weekly, and there's your daily. Daily chart shows that the massive head and shoulder bottoming type pattern, which failed to break out here, then resulted in this slow channel pullback for 1 more retest. But in the last week, we've had a beautiful move up from around 270 to nearly 4 today at 394. But the close being above the 380 area, to me, it shows a key breakout on the heaviest volume in a couple months. So let's look for this stock now to make it up towards the $5 short term, secondary target around 6.15. Yoku, one of the more favorite Chinese stocks of mine. At this point, it's had massive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline and a retest. Tested a channel top and then a pullback, and now she's moving up. Today up $1.81 or almost 8%. It broke through this line. I'm expecting to move up to 27 and then 30. Coco, good day today. That popped yesterday, and today Extended, I'm looking for more upside, although there is a top of the channel here. I think we can get to 5 3/4 thereabout. RAX had a big day with explosive move and breakout, a big breakout above multi-month resistance, perhaps a massive head and shoulders type basing pattern, which could support a big move on this. So right now I'm looking for the stock to make it into the mid 50s, but we have a target around 49.50 short term. END, and which we had out as a swing trade a couple weeks ago, finally, after stalling here and pulling back and consolidating for 3 weeks, broke out. Secondary resistance here, but if it breaks through, we can look for the stock to make it to the 14.5, 15.5 zone. Clean energy doing well. The head and shoulders bottom was broken, pulled back and retested, and popped back up to test a major declining tops line going back a year and a half or so. And if it gets through here, look for a high teens on CLNE. ARRY also broke its declining tops line with a thrust this week. And you can see the momentum on that one, however, a bit extended perhaps. We still may get to 3 1/4, 3 1/2 before it turns down. Swing trade TIBX extending a little bit here. This consolidation took place near the moving averages and above them, but now it's moving again. Looking for a move to 29 and then 31. And last day is Alzheimer HALO, which has been trending beautifully, has reached the top of its channel and my swing trade target at 11 3/4 nearly today, breaching 1160. Let's see what happens with that going forward, and we will talk to you Saturday morning with the Saturday morning coffee and charts with HB. Everybody, have a good evening.